Well, good morning. I'd say the color palette of this morning is probably purple, blue, and maybe a very light pink, orange. So, yesterday the news really made the rounds that the UK government is putting pressure on Apple to put a backdoor in every Apple device for the entirety of the data that's stored on iCloud. So the Crown thinks that it has a right to everybody's data, not just UK citizens, but people literally all over the planet. Which is super interesting because apparently, I watched Fireship.io video about this, but apparently Apple already implemented encryption on the user side that would make it to where they can't even access your information. So it looks like, well, according to the UK law, corporations who would be targeted to implement these backdoors can't even speak about the process. Like, they're not even allowed to talk about how the government is pressuring them to put backdoors into software and hardware. So apparently this information might have been leaked. So good on you, whoever did that. That's one bright spot there. It's interesting. Some of these decisions, well, this is the UK, but also just in Europe in general, European Union. Some of these decisions are so bad that I guess a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, my wife and I were talking about how I think the EU had just made a decision like Apple must switch to USB-C for all devices or something. And I made the comment offhand that Apple may just leave these places, these territories, these states, these unions, because the cost of business is simply too high. And it'll be interesting because, like, this is another decision where you're making the cost of business simply far too high. And who would you rather betray? Would you rather betray that government, or would you rather betray your customers? Because you probably won't have any customers left if you don't betray the government. So hopefully Apple sees that at least. Come on, buddy, we're going this way. Bunch of rocks in the road. Yeah, I'll link. There's a BBC article. There's a bunch of articles talking about this. Probably link to Fireship.io's video about it too, because he breaks it down better than I can. But it's just a silly situation. Come on, buddy. And in other news, it just keeps coming out. There's a duck over there that come here, Gadsden. Leave that duck alone. It's not your duck. It just keeps coming out that U.S.A.I.D sponsored just the worst things. I keep seeing references to funding for shrimps on treadmills, which I've got to look that up and see if that's real, because that's just fascinating if that's true. Probably is. I mean, they were funding everything else. Almost literally everything else, from condoms to transgenderism to shrimp on treadmills to war. It seems like they had their fingers in just about everything on the planet that is worthless or fruitless or actively destructive. At the same time, I find it really hard to believe that this is just going to be a wholly good thing, or maybe this cutting is perhaps going to be used as a smokescreen for cutting something that actually impacts lives in a good way. But I suppose we shall see, and a lot of the time we don't see until after the fact. Hindsight, you know? As they say. Anyway, if you clicked on this video by accident, like, comment, subscribe if you wanna. Y'all have a good day.